What's up guys, I'm Grant Burton, this is Games with Grant and I am yet again streaming Disco Elysium. So I'm currently trying to get into the harbour, trying to find a sneaky way in to avoid all the guys blocking the way, so that I can figure out what the hell's going on with this murder and a bunch of other stuff basically. So, there should be a secret route here somewhere that I can take. But I tried to do this yesterday and it seemed to take me to a dead end, so I'm not entirely sure. Right, so it puts me up here. I can travel all along here and then I can go up again. If my character didn't want to go in circles, I could. And then I end up on the roof here. There's no way for me to like hop down or anything like that. So yeah, I'm thinking I've missed something somewhere. Let's look at my objectives again.
What about me? What do you mean? I have no...
The lieutenant, but this isn't an old school case.
What? Think?
That's where his. We all have our different medium.
Good. Let's change the subject. What do you want to know?
Now that we've inspected the scene, I want to know more about this pissing competition you mentioned.
What's there to say? It's just stupidity.
What kind of stupidity?
The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the industrial harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the Union make a mockery of law enforcement here. And now it's come to its natural conclusion.
Ah, so this is a struggle over who runs Martinez.
Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to Police Martinez than who has to. It's an orphan district, in other words. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you, I am not their finest or toughest, with 102 cases solved. What I am is least interested in a pissing competition.
So he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. On the contrary.
So you volunteered to spoil it?
Yes, I am an unrepentant spoil sport.
What's special about Martinez?
Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist.
I wonder what this says about me, that I was sent by my station. I was sent to teach you a lesson in style. There can only be one conclusion. I am the finest we have, a hero cop sent to outperform you in every way imaginable. I must be an augury, an apocalyptic omen sent by my people. Can you guess my message? I probably have an unbelievable kill count.
A good joke.
He does not actually think it was a good joke.
Okay, it was a poor joke, but we could use a good man and cop off, don't you agree? Yes, a joke. In truth, I will only moderately humiliate and outperform you. A joke, of course. Rest assured, I have no intention to compete with you.
It's good we set this thing aside. Was there anything else you wanted to ask about the competition? If
Okay,
not,
enough of the
we should move.
competition. Then tell me something else.
Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Why did the 41st send me? I'll take that chance.
Because you're the best qualified. No, that doesn't seem right.
No, that makes sense. I'm exceedingly qualified.
If you're so well qualified, why can't you remember why you were sent? Anyway, don't keep the lieutenant waiting.
Right, so that's one objective done with. Good start to the day. Gotta find the music for that. Find out who made the call. Speak to Joyce again about that. Find out who put the clothes in the trash. Find my badge and my gun. Find a way into the secret passage. There's a strange doors in the whirling. No one knows where they lead. Find a way in and see what's hidden there. In the hostels, cafeterias, forgotten. Come on, yeah, that's the blue door. I'm just trying to remember what that was. Doom commercial area. There's an entity up a chimney. Find out how to get up there. Speak to Joyce again, but I need my badge to do that. Find booze and drink it. I'm hesitant to do that. I think that's going to be one of them optional things that could bite me in the arse again. Close that on Wednesday, so can't do that yet. Find money for Gart. I need to be doing that as I go along. And call the station to sort out my health issues. Okay. I can't remember doing that. Alright, well I'll do that then. Find Morel the cryptozoologist. I'll do that as I go along. And call Alice back in the day, so I can't do that yet. Ask about the tattoos. Find Evert Claire's help. That's what I'm trying to do to get into the harbour right now. And get the boots off his feet. And find all the armor pieces. Right, so let's go to the car and call in that. Just check off these objectives as best I can. Right, he's walking on his own right now. I am not doing this myself. I'm just waiting to see what happens here. Because I got a feeling I can't get there. But yeah, he's heading there.
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here.
Look, Lieutenant. Someone left his cloak behind.
Yes, it's probably yours. It bears the RCM insignia, and you have a habit of being careless with your equipment. You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day.
What, jump from here to there? I'm not exactly convinced of that. The wind's aggressive. Crane tower in the distance over the container yard. Right, what the hell's going on here? Am I not being given any object? Nope, did not want to do that. Ah, was I waiting for Kim to come up? Yes.
The look in his eyes is a mix of the engineer-like interest and the wonder of a 6-year-old seeing a horse for the first time.
Yes, that's one way of putting it. It's certainly an impressive achievement of engineering. But I digress. We were focusing on your cloak here.
What exactly are we doing up here?
I was under the assumption we could ask the leader of this union to help us get this body down. This is why we're here, right? Or it could be that we are just exploring.
He's thinking you've forgotten where you are again.
Do you really think this cloak is mine? Should I go for it? Jump? I'm not convinced I can jump that.
The cloak? I do think it's yours, yes. As to whether you should go for it? Well, it doesn't seem too dangerous. 2 major stops. Whenever you're ready to do it, I'll be right behind you.
The cloak looks like a bag of goodies floating in the wind. Who knows what its pockets may hide?
I've got a 28% chance of doing it. Right. Do I take the chance? You know what? Fuck it. Oh, it's actually done it.
As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses.
Close your eyes, let your senses take in the world around you. Continue the voyage through the salty air. There we go.
As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a while since you felt so alive, alert, capable. Must be the adrenaline.
I knew you could do it. My climbing down might not have been as disco as your jump, but at least we can explore the harbor now.
With your feet firmly planted on the concrete, the noise of the harbor rushes back in.
There we go. Got myself a nice cloak now. Better than this really bad jacket that I'm wearing. Taking back the streets, know thy neighborhood. There we go, that's better. Looks, yeah. Yeah, I much prefer that. I still look like a bit of a tramp, but oh well, it is what it is. No. Don't know if I want to go through that door yet. Collecting rainwater. Or maybe I'll just unlock this door, see what happens. Or maybe nothing will happen. Nope, it's taking me somewhere. Oh. Where the hell am I now? The radio is emitting strange buzzing sounds. This is someone's apartment, isn't it? What was that? Book La Fumée Volume 100 or something. The leading intellectual organ of Martinique communism.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover.
White antlers?
Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent a society in accord with the natural world and, at the same time, above it.
A shameful way to treat a former king, even one as underwhelming as Friesel. Why Friesel?
Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections: international developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note.
Let's read the note.
Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée, unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel. La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers.
Only... Oop. My HDR just turned itself on and off there.
So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors.
Kim, I think it's a communist magazine.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
I want to catch up on international developments.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Face it, you really aren't interested in foreign affairs. You're not even sure where most of these countries are. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
What is Kunst und Kultur?
It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture.
Why they decided to title this one section in Walder is beyond you. It evokes a sense of recognition and fellowship among those privileged enough to understand.
As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective.
The Tip Top Tournée is an intersolary racing series, mostly known for its high speeds, ludicrous sponsorship deals, and high death toll. In Revachol, it's held quadrennially on the prestigious Zero Carousel racing circuit. Let's see what the communists have to say about Tip Top.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colourful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée.
Wait, what's wrong with Tip Top?
Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships. And then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. So, all of it, basically. Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a Fritta.
Right, but then you get to see them crash.
And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
Wow, you're right, I really am just in it for the violence.
You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tournée is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
I can safely say the thought had never crossed my mind, Detective.
I wonder what else is really just a metaphor for life under capitalism.
I'm sure most things are, if the young men who wrote this article are to be believed. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Let's see what they mean by local concerns.
Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dockworkers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbour red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside Apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Should have killed them when we had the chance. If it went for wild pines, all these moochers would be out of a job. Charging rent to live somewhere is pretty outrageous. Wouldn't it be better for everyone if labour and capital could be reached some reasonable accommodation? Why should I care? This doesn't have anything to do with me. Well, I'm not going for the top one. Maybe that one. Maybe that one.
According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the forces of international capital or their mucilaginous allies in the coalition.
Why do communists love puerile insults, and they wonder why they're always being left out in the cold? Hold on, what's this about coalition?
Judging from the context, it's something very large and fundamental. You should probably know about it already, honestly. You flip back to the front of the magazine.
Right, well that's that magazine.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez.
That's me, Mr. Reasonable. Someone's got to keep it sane around here. This is because I'm keeping saying none of the above to political stuff, isn't it?
The air suddenly feels calmer, more transparent in a strangely tender way. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin. But something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the kingdom of conscience.
No. First, where is this kingdom of conscience?
It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times.
How do you bring about those circumstances?
Incrementally. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment.
But what about all the things that are wrong now? Okay, but what's the kingdom of conscience actually like?
Tisk tisk. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. You may never live to see the kingdom of conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What rationality? What sang-froid?
Wait, is this kingdom of conscience really about doing things or just preserving the status quo?
Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed?
Yeah, I suppose so. No one's killing anyone now. Well, I suppose there's a hangman there, like, but oh well.
There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is progress.
Okay, but what's the kingdom of conscience actually like?
The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, and even more difficult to describe, partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The kingdom of conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
Sounds incredible. That seems fine. I still want to live for the present, though. Man, that sounds kind of terrible. I don't... Right.
Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising and taking things slow?
Oh, right. Then let's get there. Eventually.
That's right. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real democracy kicks in, a long time from now, we are all going to be so much happier.
Right. So I've got another one of these, but I still don't really know how to do anything with them. So it says unlock a new slot to research the fort. So how do I unlock the slots? Unlock a new slot to research the fort. Yeah, but how? How do I unlock them? Is there something in here about unlocking the slots that I'm missing? No, I don't have a clue then. Let's see, is there anything in here about it? No. Hardcore mode, that wasn't there before. What does that do? Right, let's look around even more. Someone left the coffee machine on. The dark liquid in the pot looks almost sentient. A standard office file cabinet. The drawers seem to be locked. What's that? Postcard Le Jardin 21. This laminated postcard offers a glimpse across the river. A little more than a decade after the war, the eastern bank is already fully renovated. The hillsides are lush with gardens and residences. Someone's parked a small beige airship by the fountain. This car would sell for a pretty penny. Okay, so I can sell that stuff to get some money. And I think I'm gonna have to start selling my stuff to get the money. I think that's how I'm gonna do it. Some of the stuff though I don't really want to sell. Although I've heard that's pointless, so maybe I should sell that as well. This is a Dewey typewriter. The model name is on the back. Every worker, members of the board is written at the top of the flyers. And the bottom, the union logo and demand democracy. Ooh. Office shades. Let's remove the hat a bit so I can actually check out what these shades look like. Alright. I wear glasses now. What's that? Magnesium. Right, so it looks like that's everything here. Can't do anything with that though.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
Let's see what's inside, he thinks. The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold.
Anything interesting?
It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. How unwieldy your own willpower is to yourself. You're like an absurdist Samaran monk, focusing through not focusing. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but aesthetically more pleasing.
If I let my eyes go completely out of focus, all the shapes start melting into each
Is
other.
that what you're doing with those photos over there?
No, of course not.
Good. This is probably not relevant to our case anyway. After all, we are not investigating an accounting mystery.
So all these white ones, it says that I can try them again, but every time I try it, it's just locked. So how do I unlock them? There's a lot of stuff in this game that just is not being explained to me very well, I don't feel
The
like.
drawer slides shut smoothly.
The door is locked and cannot be opened from this side without a passcode. Guess you have no choice but to talk to the union leader. Alright, back onto the roof. Continue where I was heading. Right, so head along here. I'll go this way first. At least 3 packs worth of cigarette butts. Numerous empty bottles of Commodore Red and potent Filsher.
Snow is quietly covering the numerous wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really hard here.
Did I do this?
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you.
Looks like I had a lot of fun. I must have been on an advanced scouting mission in the harbour.
Yes, this looks pretty advanced, all right. For now, let's just move on.
Right, can I pick up those bottles? There we go. Really, I've got to pick them up one by one? Right.
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather.
So this is where Renee works. I'm gonna look around.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, René, is dressed in a Royal Carabinier uniform. The girl is young and very pretty. She is smiling playfully at the camera. René looks like he's about to smile. This photo must be tied to some good memories.
Why did you take that picture of René?
I'm gonna ask him about it. It's instinctual to collect evidence and make an artistic right.
You're really interested in that old soldier. Not sure I understand your fascination, but sure, as long as it doesn't take up a whole lot of time.
Ask Renee about the photo. Got another objective there, as if I haven't got enough of them. Alright, let's head down this way now. All around you, great machines and quiescence. White pine trees are printed onto the screen covering. Looks like a forest under snow. No, didn't want to go all the way
control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block. Allumer on, éteindre off. With a loud whine, the crane shifts overhead, moving the vessel into the through the air.
Doesn't sound all too good.
And with a surprisingly quiet thunk, the
Really?
crane places the container down.
That was surprisingly quiet.
The harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, now that its purpose has been fulfilled.
Understood, let's get back to the panel.
The rusty control panel grows warm to the touch, then grows cold. It is finished.
I can't see how that was worth the wreckers, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
Alright, what's this? You see faded industrial lettering on the platform. Kvalsund.
Before you stands a cargo container, just one of many in the yard.
Lieutenant, I think there's something special about this container.
You do? Because I don't.
What? Why not?
There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one?
It was hanging from the crane. I don't know, Kim, it just feels special. Maybe there's contraband in there.
You just picked one out because you wanted to interact with a cargo container. We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to get the body down from the tree.
You attempt to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement. No reply.
Whalefjord in Ardan. Okay, that's something. Nope, no. The shipyard ahead is oddly quiet. The great machines are sleeping. Because no one's working. This speaker tower is silent, there is no work to organize the yard below. Industrial side thermos smells like burnt coffee. The banner sags under the weight of the rain and snow, white waves on red. Container, container, I'll turn you nice and red. Container, container, put the logos on.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up as he goes along. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisund on Muindi.
Evrot, he looks after everyone. Huh? Well, hey there. How can I help you, mister?
The look in his deep blue eyes is as sincere as you've ever seen. Kind of makes you feel like an arsehole for no apparent reason.
I see you're not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you? What is it with you people and scabs? I mean, I don't personally mind folks, it's just folks, you know? And folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister. Right, you're Ubi, right? What are you doing with the containers? Where is everyone? The harbour is empty. Do you work here? What's the container over there?
Oh yes, born and raised in Irish, mister. Mum had to leave my dad after he got a bit violent. Took us here to the new world. I was about 10 then, too old to lose my accent then. People say us Ubis are up to all sorts of trouble with sheep and other animals and whatnot. I just want you to know there was never any of that where I come from. No sir, those are just nasty rumours.
Thank you for clarifying that, sir.
What are you doing with the containers?
Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes I am, yes I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
Everything is so pretty and red. You and Leo look like brothers as you glance around with similar childlike wonder. The old man whistles and hums a jaunty tune to himself.
Where is everyone? The harbour is empty.
Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha! We haven't worked for 2 months now.
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Evrard is in his office, where he always is. And Jean-Luc is guarding the gate.
Jean-Luc? Jean-Luc Picard?
But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Evrard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so.
What kind of trouble did this Titus and his friends get into?
Oh, I'm not really supposed to talk about that. That's union business. Him and his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling them to take some time off.
But what did they actually do?
I guess the boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details. That's just how boys are, you know. I haven't been in a fight since I was in middle school.
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this on the hearties.
Look at him. It's not going to be anything useful anyway. Don't fight it. Better to go with the flow.
Too rowdy? Leo, what kind of a fight did they get into? Did they kill a mercenary?
Too late. Leo's mouth is still moving, and the words are spewing forth. Words, words, and look, even more words. This guy could go on till the end of days. Now he's talking about some drunk sawmill owner who... No, he already switched to a prized fishing rod he apparently owned at some point. You know what? Just cut in there with your questions.
Do you work here?
Yes, yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. But everyone calls me Leo. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town, and Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and the missus sit down beside the radio. But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes I am, yes I am.
Hold on, who's this Miss Beaufort you mentioned?
Oh, Lizzie. She is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything, east of the river. 4 years she was gone, and when she came back, she was all fancy and lawyerly.
He respects that word. That's obvious.
But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood. Knows everybody and gets along with everyone. Real pillar of the community one day, I'm sure.
For a fraction of a second, there's sadness in his eyes.
If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she can't have kids. Dr. Lemaitre said so, and she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years, she has.
Law school? Could she be talking about the union fixer, aka the gardener?
Okay, so this is the union fixer, the gardener.
Looks like it.
I'm not sure what a fixer is, but she is a real nice girl. Smart as a whip, too.
Telling the gardener you know her name might throw her off. Perhaps something to consider later.
What's in the container over there?
Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up.
Told you.
I'm looking for the leader of the dock workers union.
Oh, you want Mr. Everard then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighbourhood. Guys like Mr. Everard and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is today. Mr. Everard and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school we did when we were boys.
Easy now, Leo. I just want to know where I can find this man.
Oh, Mr. Everard is where he always is. In his office, of course. Bye-bye now.
Right. Let's get going. The coffee in the giant thermoses is still lukewarm. A stair made of pallets leading up. Oh, I think I found the boss man. A taxidermy fish that tells time.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you.
Are you in charge of the dock workers?
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez.
Not at all what I thought he would sound like. I was expecting something gruff and butch and deep.
I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat. I insist. Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong convictions. I, too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with any man who won't face me at eye level. Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation. But until then, I'm afraid I must ask you to leave.
You're no Titan affiliation, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Fine, I will sit down.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Wait, you know Gart?
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
Right, well, I don't want to take it because that feels like that's gonna come back and punish me at some point.
Okay, okay. I respect a man with principles. No handouts, then. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only two words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun.
How do you know about my lost gun?
I know everything, Harry. Right now, I know that you're worried. Don't be worried. Everything's going to be all right. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Kim?
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Clare's help with this.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are gonna shoot themselves with it. You want to cry? God, you're weak. Whatever you do, don't cry. You'll think you're disgusting.
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating. What is he trying to pull here? You need to cool the fuck down. Chill.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry!
There are no Harrys. Let your mind go to your safe place. Keep sliding down the chair like a jello shot.
Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
Nah, I'm as good as it gets, Mr. Dubois. Oh yeah, man, I'm great. Actually, this chair is uncomfortable. I could use that glass of water. I'm melting.
Don't be dramatic. I can see your condition isn't terminal.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time. And I'm an extremely busy man, as I'm sure you are too.
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions.
Yes, I'm a police officer, remember?
It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
Aren't you gonna ask me how I got in?
Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age...
I'm in the peak of my abilities. I too am surprised. I've been provided with. My body's gonna break down any moment. Enough wackiness. Let's get back to this.
The big man peers at you over the rims of his glasses for a moment, then interlaces his fingers and rests his chin on his hands.
Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it.
You called me Mr. Dubois. Why?
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard, I call you Harry.
So that's really my name?
My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you? What are the odds of that?
I think the odds of that are very low.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean, see what his game is first.
My memory is fine, I'm just testing you.
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory trouble, I could help you out. With my big fat folder.
Words flow like a river of honey from his lips. I guess word has already reached him. No matter. No harm done.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now.
Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first.
Let's get this straight. What is my full name?
It's Harry. Harry Dubois.
Wait, I thought you are Harry... No, that's obviously not right. I know who he is.
And I can work with you, Harry. Now, what else can I do for you?
Do I have a wife or kids? Or...
Family? Harry, you're not a family man. There's not one peep of family in here. Unless you think you're a family man. Do you strike yourself as a family man, Harry?
You're right, I don't.
That's why I like you, Harry. A good man knows both his strengths and his weaknesses, and you, my friend, you are one of the all-time greats.
What kind of a cop does it say I am?
Well, Harry, if I were to sum you up in one word, it would be apologetic.
What? I'm not apologetic. I'm confident.
Well, you sure come off as very confident in all our interactions, Harry. You're a real man's man.
Where did you get that folder?
Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me, Harry.
This translates into, haha, you guys are so corrupt.
I find that very suspicious. May I have a look?
I'm afraid this is meant for Union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry.
As you look at the folder, Everard covers it with his hand and pets it. He's hiding it from you because it's not a real RCM folder. It's just another one of those brown folders you saw in the file cabinet.
That's not an RCM folder.
Okay, Harry, you got me. This is from the Census Bureau, not the RCM. Those Census Bureau people are absolutely corrupt. You should do something about them.
He got the name from the Census Bureau, and everything else from your actions here in Martinez.
Yes, Mr. Kitsuragi from the Census Bureau. Like I said, now I'm actually a very busy man. So is there anything else I can do for you, Harry?
That means he doesn't really know anything about you. A pity. The mystery of you will have to remain a mystery for the time being.
Yes, that's what I said. Try to keep up, okay? Let's move on.
Could you help me get a dead body down from a tree?
You might have noticed there's one hanging on a tree behind the hostel cafeteria.
Oh my. Don't take this question personally, but why would I get involved in this matter?
Mr. Clare, the man was hanged with a cargo belt. A steel-reinforced cargo belt. It's safe to assume the Union had something to do with the murder. Besides, getting the body down would benefit all of us. It's a stain on the neighborhood.
Yeah, the belt thing. Say nothing, you are a community leader. Help your community out.
I can certainly see how having him up there might start affecting some real estate values. But of course, all joking aside, I am going to help you. Jean-Luc, my boy, I'm sending 2 police officers down. They have a dead body in a tree problem they need help with. Namely, they need it to be taken down. And Jean, please take it easy with the race science. That's a yes to getting the body down, no to the race science. You can find Jean-Luc down at the gates. He's the big, impressive one. You know, tattoos, muscles, ethnic looking. Can't miss him. Great guy.
Let's talk about my lost gun.
Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground, asking kids, grandmas, everyone. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just a matter of time and effort.
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
He could really be holding my gun hostage? Wait, my gun may have been bought from Roy's pawn shop. Have your men factored that in? I will not be blackmailed with this gun business. I don't care about my gun. Keep it.
Yes, thank you for the hot tip regarding your lost gun, Harry. My men have indeed factored in that you pawned it. Now please, let the professionals do their job. Kick back, Harry, relax. I have great guys on this. You focus on what's important, building our relationship for the good of Martinez.
It did not come as a surprise to him. He might actually not be bullshitting.
I will not be blackmailed with this gun business.
Harry, I was only trying to be tactful. A lost gun is a dangerous thing. I can't have it around in my neighborhood. Kids could be playing gun roulette with it as we speak. Teenage gangs could be arming themselves. Get a hold of yourself, Harry.
I assure you we are working on locating the missing sidearm as well.
The lieutenant is concerned about the lost gun and feels that the fact you haven't prioritized looking for it is unfortunate, if inevitable, and doesn't put the RCM in a good light.
Excellent, Mr. Kitsuragi. That's excellent news. Looks like we have a friendly gun-finding competition on our hands.
And let's talk about the hanging, because you know that's kind of the big thing. There is a dead body after all, and I'm supposed to investigate it.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to help you, like I'm helping you with the body and your lost gun. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me.
I sense there's a but.
But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines. Incredibly talented at opening doors.
Kim, is that true? Are we door-opening machines?
I'm not sure I understand. If you're asking us to break down someone's door, it's not going to happen.
Come now. I just need you to go open a little door for me and leave it unlocked. A simple thing. Absolutely nothing shady about it.
The stars aligned into a cosmic frown here. He has your fate decided. Bide your time, however, and let the stars continue their course, and that frown shall turn into a smile. Only if you play along.
Why don't you just open it yourself?
Harry, I'm a very busy man, and more importantly, I don't have that extraordinary physique you do. You look like you could run around all day.
You want to send someone a message that the police are working for you.
I repeat, I'm a very, very busy man, Mr. Kitsuragi, and therefore I must occasionally enlist outside help. So what will it be, Harry?
Whose door is it?
Oh, no one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Nothing for you to worry about.
What do you mean by a weasel?
A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no one is watching, they start acting foolishly. Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you.
I bet you don't even know anything about the hanging.
Harry, my dear friend, I am what people call a local bigwig. I know everything that goes on in Martinez. Of course, Harry, I understand. But if that's the case, I don't think we'll ever find your gun. Even worse, we won't be able to speak like equals about the murder. Perhaps this was just bad timing for you. Know that you can always come back to me. I really hope you do. For your sake, my sake, and for your gun's sake too.
Yes, we both understand what you meant.
This may be the only way, he thinks. I won't hold it against you. In fact, we probably should reconsider later.
I met Joyce, the company representative.
Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. I hope you're getting along. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. Everyone is just pals here.
Just pals?
We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez here. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I'm helping you get that nasty body down from the tree. And with finding your lost gun. I'm not a jealous guy.
What happened to the previous negotiator?
What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go.
He made concessions for the company in previous negotiations. Why would you let an ally like that go?
He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left. Harry! I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. What is this? Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is. We're pals.
Joyce said the previous union leader vanished under suspicious circumstances.
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over.
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
Harry, Harry, Harry. Do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a rabbit stew, or a hairdryer, or an iron. The point is, her heart wasn't in it. Mine was.
If it's spilled blood you're looking for, then there certainly isn't any in his expression or demeanor now.
Joyce seems to think the union is lowballing her.
Yes, yes. Low balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those rich types.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
Why haven't you let her in to see you?
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with a bad negotiator.
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay to share anything we discuss here with this Joyce. This is a completely transparent organization. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this is secret. Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun. Tell her about everything. Everett doesn't mind.
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? It was nice telling him about her right now.
What's in the container that's outside your office?
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them.
There's something special about it. It was attached to the Kvanson crane.
Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
We might talk again later.
Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate.
Great, wouldn't want to get stuck in here.
Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care, Harry.
Right, well that was enlightening. Right, so we can now get the body down, we can finish investigating that side of things. We're making progress, at long last.
Before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly. Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Because what wasn't an option? Are you satisfied, detective?
Right, so I'm gonna go get the body, investigate the body. Depending on how long that takes, I might then go and speak to Joyce and get some answers from her. There's a lot of things that I need to do in this game, and it's all starting to pile up. It's starting to get a little overwhelming. Assuming it's this guy who's gonna help with the body.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
Everard told you to help us get the body down from the tree.
So it was. You surmounted the harbor wall in a display of athletic prowess to reach my superior. Then had him give me an order. I salute your cunning, and I will remove the body from the tree with my bare hands.
You're so noble, Measurehead.
There's a but.
But while I am gone, someone must stand guard on the bridge. That someone needs to be you. Both of you. Lieutenant, what if we don't want to do that?
This is the uncomfortable result of not taking it on ourselves. I can live with a compromise.
Listen to your little friend. He is wise in his childlike way. His mysterious race may yet prove fierce competition to my heroic haplogroup.
Okay then, I don't think I have much of a choice in the matter.
Babe, see that they stay here the whole time.
The woman's gaze follows Measurehead as he leaves.
So, you guys are like cops or something?
Yeah, we're the law around here.
Cool. I like men with guns and power. I'm Katya, by the way.
You hear that? That sound. He's breaking something.
Yeah, Jean-Luc must be really tearing it up over there. I wish I could see it.
I don't. I've seen enough of that dead body already.
Look at ye! RCM rent a corpse! Guarding that bridge like Everett's lapdogs! Is this where it's at now? The RCM is for sale!
And who are you? What is your business here? Why are your clothes 4 sizes too small for you?
A shrill laughter interrupts you, echoing across Martinez. It's Kuno. Then the man turns to look behind him at the behemoth appearing around the corner, approaching him, walking past him.
The corpse has been removed from the tree. Stand down and congratulate yourself. You have sided with Ray's victory today.
There has been no side choosing. We did what we had to keep order.
And what you had to do was to become a Union man for all to see.
Right, let's see this body. I've got a feeling this is not gonna be good. Perhaps maybe he's destroyed it or something. Or pulled it apart, I don't know. Come on, get down the stairs. Speak to this guy, see if he has anything to say.
Break the work! Break the work!
Nope. Sell my bottles first, just because I'm here.
The tear machine stands and your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a
Okay, didn't get as much as I wanted there. Still gotta get another 1 real 6, whatever the equivalent to pence or cents is in this world. Right. Where's the body? What's the state of all of this? The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side. Beautiful, wipe a tear from her. Well, it's down.
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy.
A field autopsy?
Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are on number 3.
The RCM's 4-phase murder scene processing manual.
The fuck are they on about?
Cop's gonna cut his shit up.
No, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain, from autopsy to cleanup to social work, everything.
Wait, honorary rank of detective?
An honor and a burden attached to your rank once you've proven yourself able, usually after 5 to 8 years of field work. Mine is Lieutenant Detective.
Yes, I feel like a detective.
You are. Your station would not have assigned you on this case if you weren't. Now...
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
First, what exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Yeah, let's get back to this later.
I hope we do. It's getting really late for an autopsy.
I'm merely gonna put on some gloves. Alright, let's do the field autopsy.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Tell me something, dead man. I've already tried that, haven't I?
I thought we decided to leave it to processing. Let's not turn this into some kind of circus.
Damn it. This is turning into some sort of mega puzzle. Okay, so you can sneak out of your room maybe, after he's gone asleep.
I thought we decided to leave it to processing.
Damn it. Okay, so you can sneak...
Come on, officer.
What you must have me confused with the Copperpedia. You, sir, you are the Copperpedia.
Let's get in
There
there.
truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
Alright.
I'll ask you when I need you to. For the most part, maybe I should handle the contact and you take notes?
We just fill this in, right?
That's right.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with Begin 1. Assistant
That's you.
Harry Dubois. The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says Coroner's Case No.
KK57-0803.0815.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Shouldn't we file the coroner's case under me? Technically, I arrived at the scene before you.
And what would that make the alphanumeric?
I have no idea.
I do. KK57-0503-0815. Next.
Name.
NA. Next.
Date of
NA.
birth.
Hmm.
Age.
Roughly 50.
Dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
I'm gonna write 42.
He nods.
Race.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
Nor does he look male with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face. Date of death.
We're still going with March 4th. 51. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
11. Evidence of treatment.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
What exactly is treatment anyway?
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
I'm not so sure.
A silent nod. The lieutenant places his gloved hand on the corpse's chest, as if in preparation. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then, somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why. External examination summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with the age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation. Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife with the other hand. Pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester.
Steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Look for a good spot to cut. The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the yeast.
The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now. Like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose. After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia...
No! It's get out and see!
I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
The dead man, okay, it's average size, congested from the downward collection of blood, uneven in length hanging underneath the right. Greenish marbling is present around the crotch.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
This scarring is extensive, way more than a law official's.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars. Last item, hands.
His flesh is cold, icy.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
Were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Internal examination.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I may add the moral of the story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story. The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
No scream, no sigh of release rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there, sickly sweet air unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his. It's hard. Once more you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow just to keep looking. Inside you see darkness, just a mess of meat and darkness.
There are ancient mysteries down there, Kobo. Ask me later.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus. Hepatobiliary, Na.
Why? Don't we have anything?
Ah. Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
I don't think so.
Neither am I.
And that's it?
That's it. Same for toxicology and serology, Na.
Both?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there?
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list?
Description of injuries.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
What about the injuries we have inflicted?
Oh, so we inflicted them?
This is a team effort.
You mean the spin-stabilized munition from a kill A990 muzzleloader lodged in his lung? That was not a team effort. I just missed my shot. Also, let's not mention it. Muddies the water.
See? These pigs are fucking corrupt.
Why don't you fuck him if you love him so much?
Now, injuries.
Bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
Not fatal, post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of injury, 2 boxes. Post-mortem.
Right. Next.
Ligature mark.
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to one side awaiting your judgment. The ring around his neck is fatal. Wait, no. What? Is visible.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But it's a start. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
First, how did it go?
Well, we established probable cause of death. Some would say that's the goal of an autopsy. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath.
What else?
We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
What now?
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg.
Rip out a copy of the autopsy pages.
For processing.
He's thinking, did I miss something? You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
see if I can update this. There we go. Oh, so it went from 3% to 8%.
Okay. I need a little help for carrying him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can take care of the rest.
There you go, beautiful enamel boots. You will never own the full set now. May they rest in processing.
Oh well, in another lifetime.
What should I do in the meanwhile?
Continue working here. The locals, the case, or attend to your own business. I will meet you downstairs in the Whirling in Rags tomorrow morning, 7:30 sharp.
Right. We're finally making progress in this case. And with that, I am going to end this stream there. I will be back later today in the afternoon if you're watching it UK time, so you can catch up there. Otherwise, if you've missed any of my streams and you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Games with Grant. Or if you're watching live, go over to Games with Grant to catch all of my playthrough of Disco Elysium. You can also go over to my Film and TV YouTube channel, which is just my name, Grant Burton, in YouTube. And why not follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @the_Grant Burton if you want all of my thoughts and opinions up to date as I get them. And if you're watching on Twitch, give me a follow as well. Like I said, I will be back later this afternoon, so give me a follow to know when that is, to get a notification of when that is. Until then though, thanks for watching.